Hey everyone, welcome to Appalachian Farmstead. I'm Mike, and on this channel, we do the kind of homesteading thing. We raise dairy goats for basically our own use, for milk, cheese, butter, blah blah blah. We raise meat goats, we raise pigs, we raise our own chickens, our own ducks. Oh, what else? Oh, tons of rabbits. So we do about 90% of our own meat here. We're not the typical homestead channel where you're going to see a whole bunch of gardening. We don't do that because we just don't eat it. We're basically carnivore. So, and well, you can look. Can you see all that? We grow a lot of rocks here. So very, very, very rocky. So you can go back to some of my older videos. We make our own hay here. We do it all loose. We don't have a baler because our fields are so steep. And you can see that I am on a hill right here, looking up the valley to, I believe that's either the tallest or the second tallest peak in the entire state of Pennsylvania. So, you know, we're located right here along the Appalachian mountain chain. And today I'm going to give you a review of a sawmill that I've owned for 2.5 years now. So it's the first time I've done it, actually. So it's a long term, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, so what I got here is a Frontier OS31. So at the time when I bought this was the biggest mill that you could get. Okay. Now they have, I think, an OS36, which is a enormous upgrade from this mill. Enormous upgrade. So if they would have had that mill when I bought this, I would have that. So the 31 basically means you can do a 31-inch log, which, let's be honest, you're working your ass off to get a 31-inch log milled on here, because you are flipping and flipping and flipping until you can get it, because the throat here is only 20. I mean, you could take these off. I guess you can take these off. If you're cutting that big, you wouldn't need the guides, and you could get maybe a 27-inch throat cut across here. But let's just say, for safety's sake, 24 inches. All right. So I've had a log laying on here for a while. The weather has been horrible here lately. So, anyways, so this mill, it comes in a crate. Actually, 2 crates. One crate is all your pieces here, and I have the trailer. Okay. I bought the trailer, and I'll explain why I bought the trailer and the good and the bad of that. So, I have the trailer package. So all these parts, it all comes separate. Rails, all this stuff. And then the power head, and when I say the power head, I mean this piece. This guy, this, and the motor are together, and that's another crate. And then all of this, the saw head, you have to put together. All right. So this is, first of all, I bought this with my own money, and it's the first mill I've ever owned. Excuse me. So, having said that, I am absolutely happy with this mill. Is it the greatest thing since sliced bread? Probably. For a homeowner or a homesteader's farm use, that you're not, this isn't a production mill, although I guess if you were young enough, I do know when I was talking to Frontier that they sell several of these. They were selling several of these OS31s to pallet manufacturers, guys cutting for pallets. So normally when you're doing that, you're cutting small wood. So, all right, so next thing is, so it's 14 feet long. That's how it comes. And then, but the first 2 feet, actually like 26 inches, is all power head. So realistically, you know, if you look here, you've got, I don't know, at least a foot between here and here that's going to hit on your stops right here. So Frontier claims that you can do 11 foot 1 inch. So comfortably speaking, I cut all my logs to 10 foot 6 inches, and then I don't have to worry about, when I'm putting a log up here, jamming it up against here. Because if you put an 11 foot log on here and you don't have it up against the blade, you are going to not make it out the other side. So, and that's a bummer. So, having said that, you can cut, you know, max cut is 11 feet 1 inch. But I cut all my stuff 10/6. I have cut longer stuff. I did, if you look back in some of my older videos, right down there, I did a timber frame solar install, and I cut all the timbers on here. I logged them from my property, cut them, and they were 14 feet long, I believe. And that was an incredibly miserable job. I will tell you, there's guys out there and in fact I made a video about cutting these timbers longer than that, and it's very hard. It's very hard to keep it straight. It's a lot of work. So, moving on to the next thing. So you got your power head here. Let's start up top. Here's your water tank. Now I have windshield washer fluid in it. This is something I do not like. I don't like it one bit. 2 reasons. Number one, there's no way to drain this tank completely. Like I had water and soap in this just 2-3 weeks ago, and you can only go to here, so you're leaving an inch of water in there. So no matter what you put in there, it's going to be mixed with water, and that's probably going to be slushy. The other thing is, this is not original. I bought this at Tractor Supply, and the valve, it's just a cheap, did I say cheap? Cheap valve on here, a plastic valve. It's horrible. You can't even twist it. So I can't believe that Frontier can just upgrade a little bit and get a nice valve on there. Next thing, this is extra. This is your automatic water lube. So it's connected to the throttle handle. So whenever you open the throttle, I don't know if you can see, can you see in there? No, you can't see in there, but all it is a spring-loaded piece in there that pinches the water line shut. In fact, there's water in this. I can see it right there. All right, so all that does is pinch it shut. So whenever you open the throttle, water flows, and when you close the throttle, water stops. Next thing is the Briggs & Stratton 13.5 horsepower motor. It works. It does okay, but let's be honest, bigger is always better. If this mill had a 18 horse, I just think it would be absolutely amazing. So anyways, and here's your trailer hookup. The tongue comes out, and then I've actually have the trailer wired for lights because I actually did a job, and that's one of the reasons I bought this and bought the trailer package. Let's just go to the trailer package. Was I had a bright idea that I was going to be able to do on-site milling. So I have done one job, but in our area, it's just not a thing. So, I mean, I have a Facebook page for that, but, you know, honestly, no bites. So, but that's okay. So next, but what's nice about the trailer package is if you have property like me, and now I pretty much leave it in one spot, but you can move it. I can move it up, you know, take it to the trees. So that's nice. But the other thing is nice is it gets it off the ground, and you don't have to like set your mill up, mill a bunch of logs, or go buy a bunch of treated 2x or 6x6s and build yourself something and then mount it to it. So the advantage to that is it's very stable then. Disadvantage is it's permanent. So I like the trailer package just for the fact it's off the ground. And yeah, the only thing I don't like about the trailer package is, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, I think you should have a jack right here for this, because it is a complete pain in the ass when you're trying to put it down. Like if I tow it with that thing to move these, they keep going down, it goes down crooked, it's blah blah. It's a little thing, but I don't move it that often anyways. All right, so you've got your motor. It's a pull start. I'm not even sure if they offer, I don't remember if they offer battery start. That would be super nice. But I've not had any issues with this Briggs & Stratton starting. So the only thing I've had fail on this so far is this. And then I will show you inside here in a second. This is your blade. So what this does is this adjusts this wheel. There's a wheel in here, and let me show you here. So to get in this thing, there's a clasp right here. So you have to push up on the lock, open it up, and then you lift it up, and then you push this dude, and it locks. Now, if I'm changing blades, I always move it to the end, and I just jack it up, so that I'm not bending over, ducking in here. So that bolt right there is how you adjust your tracking for this wheel. There's one for that wheel over there. And this is your tensioner. Now, if I remember correctly, you tighten this up till it's snug. And once it gets snug, then you go four cranks. Would be nice if there was a nut on here that you could put a torque wrench. Put a torque wrench on there. So, anyways, and this here, that moves your blade guide. So, if you need to cut all big stuff, or you go all the way out to skinny, that doesn't go the whole way over. So that's it right there. So that and then here's your belts. There's your brush to clean that belt. And these here are safeties. So this thing supposedly won't run. But I will tell you, one of these is bad. So, yeah, one of these is bad. So that's why I had to disconnect it, and I basically stopped the thing right now. Can't use this anymore because once I've disconnected that down there, it doesn't work. So that kind of sucks. I might, someday down the road replace one of them. But honestly, you're an idiot if you're opening this up and with this thing running. Just not cool at all. All right, what else? Oh, here's the log scale. So you've got your 1 inch. This is your inches. This is your 3/4. So log scale. So log scale used to be like the old circle mills. they would only go in 1/4 inch increments. So if they wanted something that was 3/4 of an inch, which that just works out, right? So it's 3/4, 4/4 1 inch, 6/4, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and then 2 1/4 inches. So, and then what you do with this guy is so this is where the power head is. It's like 3 inches, which I should have had it down and I didn't. But you can move this. So you set once you get your cant made, then all you need to do is say, I want 4/4 boards. You just loosen this guy, put that on 4/4, and then you just crank this, and it'll go boom, and then you're at 4/4, which is 1 inch, which in reality is 1 1/8 inches, because these scales take account of the width of the blade. So if you're not using your quarter scale, then whenever you want to cut 1 inch, you want to cut 1 1/8 inches. Okay? Pretty simple. What else is on this power head that I haven't talked about? Oh, here's your lock. So you can't move, the power head doesn't blow, because this thing will move in the wind. I've been out here milling in the wind and it's blown it. So, and then this one here lifts up the same, and then right in the center here is your clutch. And then here is your cables to raise and lower, and that's how you raise and lower, is by this guy right here. So, that's this guy. What else? That's probably it. So the OS31, the other thing, the OS31 comes with these guys, with the stainless steel bunk covers. That is not an extra, they come with it. They don't do it on the end one because honestly there's nothing ever sits out there. I made this guy because if you have a log sitting out here hanging in the air, you will get deflection. So if you don't want to make one yourself, you can just buy an extra when you order it, and then I wouldn't put it permanent. I would just let it there. You can move it around, whatever. But you can see how these get rusty with the stainless steel, and especially if you're doing hardwood, you need these guys, because you will get black marks on your oak for sure. Next, this guy here, extra. This is called a tow board. It's a manual tow board, obviously. Now, for a log like this, you can actually lift that with your hand. But big logs, like, that red oak right there, something like that, if you had that on here, no way you're lifting that by hand. So what normally I do is I will guesstimate while the log is sitting on the ground, and I'm like, I need to raise it 2 inches. So I will go ahead and raise that before I ever stick it on here. So then you got your log clamps. So these things are okay. I don't have any beef with them. You got your log clamp. This digs into the log, and this is okay for bark, but you got to be careful. You can dig a hole right in, you can't. Then this goes up and down, and this goes side to side. Honestly, I hardly ever touch this or this. You can go by height and length by just going over and back, right? And then once you shove it up against there, let me try this. Just by cocking it sideways, it stays there. So those are good. And then I bought these. I wish I would have bought another one of these. These things are awesome. So once you get I don't even know what it's called. It's basically it's like a cant lock. Once you get your cant down, you can put this down, and you just flip it up, and then snug it up against there and push this down, and it locks the cant in. No screwing. It doesn't really puts a small dent in the cant. They're really nice, especially when you're going down and you're cutting as low as you can, which is 1 inch. So I wish I would have got one of them for over here too. Now, log stops. Comes with, I don't know if it comes with 3, but mine has 3. I don't remember. It's 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago. So, personally, I don't like these. And I'll tell you why I don't like them. I don't like them for 2 reasons. One is this. You can see they're bolted on there. All 3 of them. So if you're milling small logs, not a problem. But for somebody like me who's milling, 28 inch oak logs, trying to roll that log against those, which that's what you're supposed to do. That's why this is angled like it is. I wish this was a roller. It will move them. It will cock. There's too much force to keep those bolts don't stay on there. Really irritates me to know. So that's one that probably that thing you can get over, right? This here, I wish that they welded these pockets on there. They need to be welded on there so they don't move. I never hardly ever use this middle one. Never. Unless it's like a short piece. Same here. And then the other thing is, which pretty sure Woodland Mills uses basically the same, except they weld theirs on. I will tell you that. Woodland Mills welds theirs on. But they use the same stop, and they use the same, that's all the same. It's something I haven't done. Can you see here? So I have them, it's wearing off, but you have it marked so that you know when you're looking down here that if you got a 4, you need to be 4 or above, or you're going to cut one of these dudes off, like that guy. That will ruin a blade like instantly. So, and then also I don't have them on here, but this is your rail wipers, and they're just pieces of felt. I have them sitting over there in that little jug right there, soaking in transmission fluid, and it just keeps that oiled and keeps it clean. All right, let me see. Okay, so the other thing that I haven't seen anybody else have any issues with except for me. There's a couple other YouTubers out there that have these mills, but when this thing comes in a kit, so every piece of this, so the rail that this runs on is separate. These guys are separate. Everything's separate. Right here. And it's just this side. It's not that side. For whatever reason, my mill catches on that gap. So I realize that, your crate is going to be basically from here to the end, right? Because they're splitting it in half. This should be not on this split. I don't know why. Those bolts are tight. You can't get them any tighter without snapping them off. And I've used a file and stuff on there, and they still catch. But that's my other complaint. But that's really all the complaints I have on this sawmill. And I've sawed a lot of lumber, not as much as some other great people do. Now, is it worth spending, I don't know what this was, $5,000-$6,000 for a sawmill? Absolutely. I would not be without it now that I have this thing. So, and here's, I have, you can see out through there. I have, I don't know, 30 acres of woods, hardwoods. I literally have like 5 fir trees on my property. That's it. So I don't have any softwoods. In fact, I've never cut any softwood on this thing. So I cut oak, maple, and cherry. That's mainly what I cut. That's basically all I cut. Occasionally I have a couple elms. That's some strange wood there. But yeah, so absolutely worth getting a sawmill for your property. And even if you don't have a ton of trees and you have a homestead and you're raising animals and you're raising your own proteins and even if you don't do a lot of that, even if you're into the vegetables and all that good stuff, you still need buildings and you still need stuff. I haven't bought one stitch of lumber, one board foot of lumber. I've not bought one board foot of lumber since I've owned this mill. So, and I'm going on 3 years with this mill. There is no reason to go buy wood at Home Depot or Lowe's or whoever you're buying your lumber from when you have one of these and you have access to trees. Now, I just don't go out there and haphazardly whack nice trees down. I look for a diseased tree or a tree that's possibly, I've got several of them that are, I know they're hollow. So those are the ones I harvest first before I go. Now the ones I have laying here, I harvested for my off-grid project. But you can make, this sawmill will cut down. You can easily make 1/4-inch stuff if you really wanted to. I don't know that I would, but you can easily cut 1/2-inch boards. You can cut any size of timber you want. What else? It's just what you can do with this mill is limitless, absolutely limitless. So now the downfalls of it, other than a couple minor issues I have. A manual mill is a lot of work. A lot of work. If you're out here milling all day, you're going to know it at the end of the day. So, just be aware of that. Flopping wood around with your can hook will kick your ass. Because you're not only, now I have a skid steer to load this logs with, so I don't have, Frontier does sell ramps and a winch, which I have a winch over there. I just made that myself. I forget what, they wanted like $100 for that thing. I went down to the local fabricator and just bought basically the same piece. That's a standard piece of metal right there, that tubular steel. And he just welded a plate on top, and I bought a boat winch from Amazon for $20. And you can winch your logs, and then when I did this off-site job, I just cut 4x4s for a ramp and put notches in it, so it just sat on here. Boop. And I winched all my logs up like that. You can just it's super easy, is you just take the thing, you put your drill on it, your battery operated drill, take the handle off, and you can just you can pull a log up, like a 24-inch log, you can roll a log up with your drill. And I have a Ryobi drill, so it runs them up there as fast as you can go. So it's not a big deal. But you're definitely going to need something to move your logs around with, obviously. Tractor would be nice, for sure. But I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. And the other thing is, if you don't have a big wood lot like I do, you can also just buy a truckload of logs. I mean, you can get depending on where you're at, $1,000 will get you, around here $1,000 will get you a triaxle load of hemlock, milling logs. So I don't know what a hardwood costs, but you know, if I was buying lumber, or I mean, if I was buying logs to build projects, I would buy probably a softwood. Unless I needed like poles or something, then I would be looking for hardwoods like a white oak or a red oak or chestnut oak. So, all right. So, would I buy this again? Absolutely. Do you need to buy one? If you got a homestead like this, absolutely. It's well worth the money. Like I said, I haven't bought lumber in 2 years, 3 years, ever since I got this. The other thing is, you can make a little bit of money with this sawmill. So some of the stuff that I cut down, like I have a whole bunch of, when I'm building something, I don't technically, I don't know if you can see that right there. Pile of cherry. So for me, why not? So I cut that cherry into boards, stack and sticker it, and you sell it. Or you get some wonky tree you cut down, it's got a crazy base on it, you cut that and you slab that stuff up and put it on Marketplace. I sell most of my stuff as air dried / green, and I do pretty well with it actually. So, so there is opportunities to make money with this, and you know, you can put on your Facebook that you have this, and hey, do you have something you need sawed? And if they can get it to you, they can haul it out there on a trailer for you, and you can put it on your mill and charge whatever you want. Charge by the hour. I think probably $75, $80 an hour for this saw. It's probably easily, you know, and some guys do by the board foot, but I don't know. I like by the hour. So anyways, that's where I'm at with this. I love this sawmill. The only thing I might want to change in the near future is I do not mind pushing this through. That doesn't bother me one bit. What gets you is, for me anyways, is all day cranking this thing up and down. So just remember, every time you go down, you got to crank it up a little bit to come back. So I saw down. I usually pull the board off and then give it like about a quarter of a turn, get it above the cant and bring it back. Because I've done that before where I didn't do that and I'm pulling it back and it snags a little bit and rips the blade clean off. So you don't want that. But anyways, Frontier OS31, 2.5 year review. Really, really like this machine. I think it's well built. There's a lot of similarities to the Woodland Mills. They do their, I think they do their lift mechanism just a little differently. But honestly, it's very close to the same. So between these two, I would say either one would do great, but I really like my Frontier. And like I said, probably if I had the money to buy another sawmill, I would go with the Frontier OS36 because it has like a 20 horsepower motor on it. It does a 36-inch log, and I believe it's 30 inches wide in the throat, and the frame is much heavier. So, and you still can't beat that sawmill for the price they're giving it out for. Well, not giving it, but selling it for. All right, guys, I've spoke enough about this sawmill. I think you get the gist. You know, you can see, check your log stop, check your log stops, because you know what? I saw it. I ruined 2 blades because I didn't do that. Right? This is the first mill I've ever owned. Only mill I've ever owned. So, never even run one before. So, you can do it. You don't have to be some pro at it. You know, you find an old crappy tree is the first thing you do, and you start milling. And really, what Frontier tells you to do in the book is they show you how to make stickers, and then you make stickers before you do anything, and then you'll find out that later on down the road, you don't like stickers. You don't like making stickers anymore. So, yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps me. And, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. And I hope you have a great holiday. So, what's today? I don't know. The 12th, 13th. So, another week with Christmas. So, all right. Well, I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.